Hey everybody out there in the YouTube universe, this is Mr. Movie, and in today's video we're going to be doing another top 5 list. If you watch my channel, you know I don't do top 10 lists by genre like most YouTubers do. I do top 5 lists that are movies that are in my collection by a particular actor or a particular director. Sometimes I do topical ones, but this one is going to stick to the script and it'll be a top 5 actor list. For the movie to be considered, obviously the actor has to be in the movie, but they have to be the starring role or the supporting role, or a big enough role that you can't have the movie without their character. They have to be integral to the plot, and also it can't just be a bit part. If they're just in it for 5 minutes, it doesn't count. So also, it doesn't necessarily have to be their greatest performance. It just has to be a great movie and they have to be great in it. So with that being said, in this video, we're going to be doing the top 5 movies in my collection by Christian Bale. Christian Bale is a really great actor. I think he's kind of even underrated. He doesn't get mentioned that much in the, best actor categories. But I think he belongs there. He's very dedicated. If you've seen, he's done the whole losing weight thing. He's done the gain the weight thing. He's Welsh, so whenever you see him in a movie doing an American accent, that's an accent that he has to master. So I think he's a really talented actor. He's very intense too. If you have an intense role and you need a great actor for it, he's your guy. Also, he's very diverse. I mean, he's done a lot of different types of roles, action roles, drama. He's done a lot of great stuff. And I think that this list wasn't as hard as some of the other ones because I think he's very choosy with what he picks. So he doesn't have the long filmography like some of the other people I've done lists on. So this was a little bit more easy for me to do. So let's dive right into it and go to number 5. Number 5 on the list is Reign of Fire. I actually did a review, if you want to check my channel, about this movie, because to me this is the greatest live action dragon movie ever made. Thing for you. So I can't stress enough how great the effects in this movie are, and it's from the early 2000s, so it still holds up 20 years later. Really great action, really cool story. I love the mythology of the whole dragons in this particular movie, how they come about. And usually, dragons are usually in set pieces, in the past, or in, a place that's not regular Earth. And this is regular Earth in the future, but not the far future. And I love the way they do the whole dragon mythology. It's very new and very unique. It's a cool take on it, and they look better than any live action dragon I've ever seen. Really good story. Him and Matthew McConaughey, who was also in it, they play off each other really well. It's really intense. They're against each other at first, but then they join forces to try to, rid the world of dragons. And just a really, really cool movie. Visually, it's great. It's a good story. And like I said, I really like the unique, newer take on the whole mythology of dragons, where they come from. And like I said, again, also the effects, just unbelievable. Really, really cool. You should check it out. Number 5 is Reign of Fire. Number 4, completely switching gears, and this is one of the ones where I said, loses the weight, gains the weight, is American Hustle. This is a true story, by the way, too. Based on a true story. And it's a really crazy movie because he's a hustler, and he gets a partner who's a female, and they just hustle people, but they get caught doing their hustle, and then they end up having to work sort of for the government, and it starts tying in politicians and the mob, and it gets really crazy and out of hand and very dangerous. And he's always very underestimated because the way he looks. He's got a bad toupee, and he looks kind of sloppy, and people just, they underestimate him. I think that's why he gets away with a lot of stuff. But he's really good at it. He's really good at hustling, and he's really good at scheming. So when it gets to this point where you think it's completely out of hand and he won't be able to handle the pressure of all these huge things, because he's a local kind of hustler, you know, in his town sort of thing. And this starts getting on a countrywide level, like I said, with politicians and the mob and, you know, other countries even involved, and crazy. The scope of it gets out of hand, and he's underestimated to the point that he comes out unscathed, on top, and with some money, and everybody else goes down. Really great acting by Christian Bale. The great stellar cast. I didn't mention that in Reign of Fire, another great stellar cast. But in this movie, it's a period piece also too. So it's really cool. The soundtrack is really good. And Christian Bale is unrecognizable in this movie. I mean, he gained like 30, 40 pounds. And he plays the loser who you underestimate, who's actually a really good hustler to a T. Really cool movie. I would suggest it. It's number 4, American Hustle. Number 3, again, completely switching. Lost weight for this movie, not a ridiculous amount like he did with this other movie, which isn't on the list, called The Machinist, which he lost enough weight where he's almost looks like he's dead. He's like a skeleton. It's pretty crazy. But this movie is The Fighter. It's a true story. It's about boxing, but he was a boxer, and he fought Sugar Ray Leonard. He was up and coming, but you know, drugs kind of got in the way, and his name is Dickie Ward. His younger brother's Mickey Ward, who had, in my estimation, as a big boxing person, the best trilogy of fights against Arturo Gatti in the history of boxing. And what happens is, you know, like I said, he fights Sugar Ray like in the 70s. He's like the hometown hero, but he gets involved in drugs, and it really messes him up. He's got a younger brother who has a lot of potential, played by Mark Wahlberg, who is the character Mickey Ward, who, like I said, ends up fighting Arturo Gatti in that great trilogy. And he's his trainer, but they're not quite getting to where they want to be. He's distracted with the drugs and everything, but he starts getting a chance and getting better fights, and then it ends up where Mickey feels like he can't win without his brother in his corner, even though he's a screw up with the drugs and everything. He knows that he knows boxing, and he can help him out. And you know, it's a story about family, it's a story about drugs, it's a story about boxing. Really, really deep movie, and a true story. And you know, at the end, Mickey Ward does win a championship, and it's partly because of his brother, no matter how messed up he is. And it's a bittersweet, happy ending, and he just plays him great. I mean, he does the drug addict thing perfect, the boxing thing perfect. He's just such a great actor. I mean, he really gets into roles and becomes that person, whether they're fictional or real. And that takes a real talent. So number 3 is The Fighter. Number 2, gotta put it in, is The Dark Knight. Now, he was in 3 Batman movies. I'm not in love with the first one. I love the third one, but I think this is the best one. Obviously, you have The Joker by Heath Ledger, who unfortunately passed away. But this might be controversial, I don't know, but I did a DC movie list, DC Comics movie list, and this was number 1. I think it's the best DC movie ever made, and second best trilogy after the Captain America trilogy in comic books, in my estimation. Also, I think he's the best Batman. Now, he's definitely the best Bruce Wayne in live action. No cartoons or any of that stuff, but live action movies, not TV, any of that stuff. I think he's definitely the best Bruce Wayne, and I think he's also the best Batman. Some people hate Ben Affleck, think he's terrible. I think he's a decent Batman. I loved Michael Keaton as Batman. The other ones, people who played him, not so much, but I think he's the best Batman because of his intensity. I love the way they kept it kind of realistic. Like, if he had enough money, he could possibly have all these weapons and toys and vehicles and stuff. And Christopher Nolan directing, I think, just made Batman grounded and more real and more realistic. And I think Christian Bale captured that as the Batman character. And just overall, the movie is just from beginning to end almost perfect. It's a classic, best Batman movie. And number 2 on the Christian Bale list, The Dark Knight. And number 1, one of my favorite movies probably ever. I'm a big Halloween guy. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that on this channel, but I dressed up as this character for Halloween one time, and I won first prize. And that's American Psycho. Just one of the craziest movies out there. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what's real, you don't know what isn't. It's a period piece sort of, because it's like the 80s. And he's just like he's a businessman, but like a Wall Street kind of guy, but he's like a robot almost. And he's like, he doesn't have a personality that he kind of embraces of himself. It's very strange to describe this movie, but he does have his own personality. And, you know, he kills people, or does he? I mean, it's such a mind-blowing psychological movie. And he's so intense and believable as this, you know, proper guy in a suit, you know, goes to his job, is very successful, very charming, but a complete and utter psychopath. And it's all in his head. So you don't know if it's like really happening or it's just he's imagining it. It's really crazy. I mean, I guess it's what you want it to be. So those movies really mess with your brain. And this is one of the best ones of those. And he is perfect for this role. I mean, he captures so perfectly, and it's a slow burn, but it really fries your mind by the end of it. You're like so just like out of touch with reality, like the main character, because you don't really know what's what. And it's very entertaining, very quotable. You know, he says a lot of stuff. You know, I got to go return some videotapes. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. Really cool movie. I suggest you check it out. But when you watch it, clear your mind and just, you know, engross yourself in what's going on and let it take you on the journey, and then try to figure it out when it's all over. Really, really cool movie. I really like it a lot. It's one of my favorite movies. Number 1, American Psycho. So running down the top 5 Christian Bale list of movies in my collection, we got number 5, Reign of Fire. Number 4, American Hustle. Number 3, The Fighter. Number 2, The Dark Knight. And number 1, American Psycho. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Hit the notification bell. I make videos all the time. I do movie reviews, top 5s, all kinds of stuff. So you'll get notified when I make a new one, and you can check it out. If you like it, please hit the like button. Share it with your other movie nut friends. If you like Christian Bale as an actor, and I didn't mention a movie that you really like, let me know in the comments. If you have these in a different order, let me know that too. And like I said, please share this with everybody. Let them know about Mr. Movie. I'd appreciate it. That being said, this is Mr. Movie, signing off, and I will see you again next time at the Flicks.